Welcome to the 2021 Guaranteed Rate Bowl Selection Day press conference. We are excited to have Guaranteed Rate Bowl with us here today and get going. It's the first time that we've had Guaranteed Rate sponsor our game. Last year we were unable to have the game, so we're thankful for that. And this is a big Big 10, Big 12 matchup. It's the only one in bowl season that has those two conferences. And so we're especially proud of that with these two conferences who are at the elite of college football. It's the first time since 2013 that we'll have this matchup. So first up for us today is the head coach of the University of Minnesota, PJ Fleck, in his fifth year. The Gophers had a 3-year stretch of coming to this bowl in 2006, 2008, and 2009. And before Coach Fleck took over the program in Minnesota, the Gophers had only 3 8-win seasons since 2004. I looked this up, Coach, and in 4 full seasons there, not counting last year, the Gophers have had 8 or more wins under Coach Fleck. So congratulations, Coach. Welcome to the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, and take it away.
Yeah, first of all, I really appreciate it. We're very honored to be in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl out there in Phoenix, and I know it's the first year being the title sponsor, and we couldn't be happier and couldn't be prouder of our team for earning the right to come out to Phoenix and the Arizona area, and we're very excited. So just want to thank the Fiesta Bowl organization, the important Yellow Jackets, we call them, always treat our program so well, always treat Mark Coyle and I so well when we get a chance to see them. Executive Director Mike Neely, I've got to know pretty well over the years, just an amazing human being. He's a Minnesotan as well. Not only that, his daughter's a student trainer for us, Regan, and so we've got to know their family pretty well. The chairman of the board, Patrick Barkley, just want to thank you so much. And again, just thank you so much for being so good to us over the years. The hospitality second to none. I know our alumni, our team, our families, our staff, our fans will have an absolute blast in the Phoenix area in the state of Arizona. So we're very excited. Got a tremendous opponent, really good head football coach, really good football team. I've known Neil Brown for a lot of years. So again, this is a great matchup. We're very honored to be there. We're excited to be there, and 70 degrees plus, count us in anytime. And we're coming from Minnesota during the winter, so we're very excited. Might even show up this week and start the training now. So I'm just kidding, by the way, but we're very excited. Just want to thank everybody involved. Thanks to our athletic director, Mark Coyle, our president, Joan Gable, for all the support, and just really proud of our coaches, our organization, and our team this year for doing what they were able to do. So with that, we'll open up for questions.
Thanks, Coach. And once again, we ask that if you do have a question, please use the raise your hand function, and we will address the questions as we go. Coach, while we're waiting for that, I know that you had a really talented running back room at the start of the season, and unfortunately it didn't unfold the way you wanted it to. Talk about that function of the team for the Gophers.
Yeah, I mean, after the first half, I mean, Mohamed Ibrahim had over 150 yards against Ohio State at the time, and then, ended up tearing his Achilles. And, it was kind of an emotional loss for our team. He's one of the best players in the country. Not only that, returning All-American at Minnesota, and just really a leader on our football team, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, just a great person overall. And, then we need a lot of young guys to step up. And obviously losing Trey Potts as we kind of got into him, and he was having a heck of a year. And I think even after like week 8, he was still our leading rusher, and he only played in 4 or 5 games. So then Bryce Williams went down, and then we had some other guys go down as well. So 5 scholarship running backs out. And then we relied on our 2 freshmen, Kai Thomas and Bucky Irving. And those guys did a tremendous job carrying us towards the middle to the end of the year. That's a lot of responsibility for 2 freshmen to have. But our offensive line did a great job leading our football team with all the experience we have up front. 5 guys up front being all Big Ten somehow, some way, is a credit to them. Of 2 running backs that are freshmen going back there running for over 100 yards in multiple games, and so we're really proud of the progress we're making. It's a credit to the recruiting that we've been able to do here. When you lose 5 running backs and still have 2 that are incredibly talented and are the future of your program. And 2 really special human beings. But again, it's we played really good complementary football this year, and I think that helped with the running game leading the way.
All right, our first question will be from Jack Magruder. Jack, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, PJ, talking about the other side of the ball for a little bit, you guys had a real nice year defensively. What did you attribute that to? What went well there?
Well, first and foremost, I think we have an incredible staff. Joe Rossi, his entire staff, Joe Harris-Simiak, Paul Haynes, Chad Will, our student workers and our GAs and our quality control. They just do an amazing job of leaving no stone unturned. And not only that, it comes down to players. I think when you're a head football coach, you've been at both ends of the spectrum. You've been 13-1, you've been 11-2, but you've also been 1-11. You understand the big difference in that is players. I think we've recruited at a very high level. Not only that, we were able to hit on about 4 or 5 of the transfers that we brought in, and didn't bring in a lot of them, but the ones we brought in were incredibly impactful players, and they helped us immediately and started on the field right away, and we're able to bridge a little bit of a gap and create a lot of depth for us. So we were deeper than we've ever been on defense this year, and we were deeper than we've ever been really on offense, even with Rashad Bateman entering the draft early and coming off of the COVID year. But again, we had some injuries, obviously, on offense at the running back and the wide receiver position that kind of hit us hard. But defensively, I mean, we were able to stay healthy for the most part. I thought they all played really congruent, played together. Everybody knew each other's role, but didn't try to play each other's role. I think we got into a little bit of a deal last year. We played a lot of young kids in the COVID year, and everybody tried to make up for maybe some of our deficiencies by doing somebody else's job, and it got us in trouble. Everybody did their job this year. The front seven helped the secondary helped the front seven. Everybody did their job, and everybody was really in sync. And I thought that was a credit to Joe Rossi and how he organizes our defense, but also how hard our players played and the leadership that they showed on defense.
Thank you, Coach. Next up, we'll have Andy Greeter from the Pioneer Press.
Andy.
Hey, PJ, how are you?
Doing elite, man. Just out recruiting.
Nice. I wanted to ask you, this is the first time we've been able to chat with you since you made the change at offensive coordinator. Can you shed a little light on why you decided to make that move?
Yeah, I just felt like we needed a change on offense. Mike is a tremendous person and a wonderful football coach. I just felt like just needed some new direction in the leadership for that position. And, we're working our way towards making a hire here very shortly.
Next up, we'll go to Randy Johnson from the Minneapolis Star-Trib.
PJ, do you have a plan, a coordinator for this bowl game, Matt Simon or anything like that?
Yeah, we made a decision, but I'll keep that internal right now as we continue to go forward of how we're going to be able to do that. But, our staff knows what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. But I'll keep that internal as of right now. But I really like our plan as we move forward.
All right, Ryan Burns, please ask your question for Coach Fleck.
Yeah, you mentioned recruiting. You got 10 days until National Signing Day. I know you're out on the road right now. How are you feeling about things 10 days away from the first signing day?
You never feel comfortable. I think that's where the last 2 weeks of recruiting come right off the season and you're immediately on the road. Here I am in an FBO and, you never feel comfortable, but you build those relationships and build those bonds that are really strong. And come this last week, you find a lot of players that, that you continue to discover and leave no stone unturned, continue to work really hard. We travel a lot of places and hopefully get a lot of guys on the visit coming up. And again, this isn't the only time we can sign players. We got the signing day in February and, but we feel really good about the core nucleus we have in the high school players. And just like anything, as we talked before, there'll be some gaps and holes we want to be able to add depth with and fill with the quality players and the people in the transfer portal. And but I feel really good about where we're at. Never feel comfortable until the ink's dry. But other than that, I think our staff's working really hard and look forward to getting more guys on campus this week.
Great, thank you, Coach. Next up is Ron Sanzone from Times New Media.
Hi, there I am.
Hi.
Coach, congratulations on your selection to the bowl game. You ended up the regular season, really good win against a very good Wisconsin team. And if you win this bowl game, that's going to mean the season concludes with a 3-game winning streak. Can you talk about the significance that would hold for your program going forward?
Yeah, I think that, we take things as 1-game seasons. That's a really good question. But the way our mentality is, we always talk about 1-game championship seasons. And this is another 1-game championship season. We do everything we can to keep the internal message incredibly loud and the external message is very quiet. This team has done a great job all year focusing. We've come off some really tough losses and responded incredibly well. we've come off some great wins and responded well too. That's what this team's all about, and they're not into reacting, they're into responding, which I think there's a big difference in that. I think when you respond with the internal message and the internal expectation. And when you react, it's based on an external, expectation. So we take things in one game mentalities. I know it sounds cliche, but that's the way we talk about it within our program. We got a very quality opponent. They're very talented, play a very unique defense. I've known Neil for a long time, Coach Brown. And I know that he's going to have his team ready to play. We got to have our team ready to play, and it's going to be a great matchup in the desert.
Daniel House from Gophers Guru, you're up.
Hi, Daniel.
Hey, PJ, with all
What stat you got for me right now?
field position margin, it's the key to success.
One of them.
It is. With all the activity in the portal this year, how do you and the staff approach vetting players and making sure that they're the right fit?
Yeah, you've got to do, again, just like you're recruiting high school players. It's an organized guess. You're doing everything you possibly can to vet every single player, talk to as many people as you possibly can. Again, turn over every stone and just make sure that they are the right fit. And I think one of the biggest things is, we talked about this before, Daniel, it's not necessarily recruiting, it's relationship building. We got to find the right people for us. And that's what we're going to go out there and look for. Not just recruit somebody because everybody else is recruiting them, or recruit somebody because there's a need at a position. We're going to recruit the right people that fit our positions of need and do everything we can to make it the right fit. You're never perfect, ever. Never met a coach that's ever perfect in recruiting. We talked about this the first day we got there. You're above 50%. You're probably doing better than most. But we've got to make sure that, just like this year, I thought we did a great job vetting. You look at Jack Gibbons, and you look at Matthew Trickett, and you look at Niles Pinckney, you look at Dalen Wright, you look at some of the guys we brought in, and they're immediate impact players. Not only that, all conference players, and some of them. So, we've got to continue to do a good job in that. And that's why we're on the road recruiting right now. And some of that is maybe not even signing them in December or bringing them in early. It's continually vetting all the way through February and even after spring ball, to make sure we get the right people, at least the best chance to get the right people.
Great. Next up, we'll go to Matt Digby from WOAY TV in West Virginia. Matt.
Good evening, Coach. Congratulations on your bowl selection. You mentioned in your opening statement the excitement about going to Phoenix, and travel is always a big factor when it comes to bowl games. But looking at, for instance, you just went to Colorado a couple months ago and were very successful there. How much will you draw on that to kind of help with the fact that it is, not your typical amount of distance that you'll be traveling to get to Phoenix in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I think there's two different philosophies on that. First of all, there's going to be people that are way above me that are going to make those calls. But we do a lot of homework on where we're going, the elevation, the changes on your body. It's a very different situation than it is in Colorado. We know that. Our plan in Colorado was to be in and out as quick as possible. Got there really late at night, went to bed, woke up early, played, and left. And there was no acclimation period on our body. We didn't need anything like that. With this bowl game and being the weather that it is, we're going to do everything we can to get out there as early as we possibly can, acclimate as fast as we can, and have a normal week as possible. But again, we'll do all the science. We'll have all of our our faculty members who are involved in that help us with that as well, and our doctors, and we'll make the best call and get out there as soon as we can. I mean, if we could leave tomorrow, we would. Phoenix is an amazing area. We get a chance to go out there as head coaches every single year for the Big Ten meetings, and the Fiesta Bowl organization that treats people so well. I mean, it's always first class, and we just can't wait to get out there, and hopefully we get out there sooner than later.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Andy Greeter, once again, from the Pioneer Press.
Andy.
Hey, PJ. When you talked about, recruiting players and going through the portal, how much are you having to recruit current players that could be thinking about the NFL, the Blaze Andrews, John Michael Schmitz, Chris Altman-Bells of the world?
That's a great question. I think that one gets left off the table a little bit. I think with the transfer portal, recruiting your players is part of the recruiting process. But again, it's not necessarily recruiting them to come back. If it's right for them to come back, then they should come back. If it's not right for them to come back, they shouldn't come back. And I think the biggest thing for our program, what we've always done is we've always had an open line of communication. I meet with our players and agents, even in the summer leading up to their senior years or years that they want to be able to come out so they can vet through the process and make their decisions at the appropriate time when it's legal down the road, but at least they get that opportunity. It's the same thing with the NFL, going through the proper paperwork, understanding all the facts, not just what somebody that you're going to pay is telling you, but on the other end of what are the facts coming from the NFL? What's the NFL's advice of what to do? And then making the best decision possible. And I think that's what our players have done. Some of them have made their decisions. Some of them have not made their decisions. And we're not here to push them one way or another, but we are here to help them vet through the process, gain all the factual information they possibly can, and then support them in whatever they decide to do.
All right, the final question for Coach Fleck will go back to the Minneapolis Star Tribune and Randy Johnson. Randy?
Hi, Randy.
Hey, PJ. Yeah, Tanner Morgan's coming back for next year. What was that process in that decision?
Well, I think that's a great question for him, of how he thinks and what he wanted to do and how he wanted to do it. And Tanner's an ultimate competitor, and I think that, Tanner absolutely loves the University of Minnesota, loves his teammates, and Tanner loves playing football. And I think Tanner wants to be able to make sure he can prolong as long as he can play football for as many years as possible, whether that's in college, whether that's at the next level, and then get into coaching. He's a gym rat. He loves being around the game and feels like coming back for another year is the best thing for him and his family, and for the University of Minnesota. And again, there's always competition. There will always be competition. And he's very aware of that and understands all that. But that's what I love about him. And that's what I love about all of our players. They're ultra competitive. And I think that's one thing we look at in recruiting. Are you ultra competitive? And again, it's not all the time. It's not 100%, but are you ultra competitive? And I think everybody that is coming back, and even the players that are moving on, but we're talking about Tanner. I mean, he wants to see Minnesota become what it can be. And, he wants to compete. And we're very excited about his return and his leadership.
Coach, I lied. I'm going to ask one more, and it'll lead right into Coach Brown in his opening. But it came from CJ Harvey from WCHS in Charleston, West Virginia TV there. You referenced your relationship with Coach Brown earlier in your opening statement. And the question was, how far back does your relationship with Coach Brown go? And what do you see from this West Virginia team?
Yeah, we had time to visit when I was back at Western Michigan University. And, we kind of both have ties to my former coordinator, just Kirk Shiraka. We both worked for him at different places. And we were both working under him as a coordinator at different places. And I've known Neil, like I said, back to the Western Michigan days and heard about him when I was at Rutgers and worked for Greg Schiano and was under Kirk Shiraka. So, it dates all the way back to those days. He's a class act. He's a wonderful human being. He's an incredible football coach with a very creative mind. We've got a chance to watch them here and there just because of their crossover with Maryland at times when, we played Maryland this year. Very creative offensive mind. They play a very unique defense, present a lot of challenges, and play incredibly hard. So we've got our work cut out for us. We've got to come up with the best game plans, organize our staff properly of what we can be able to do, manage the time the best we possibly can with recruiting and balance of all that, because we have a lot of respect for West Virginia and what they've been able to accomplish this year.
Coach, thank you very much for your time. I know it's a busy time of year for you, but we're thrilled to have the University of Minnesota here at the 2021 Guaranteed Rate Bowl. And we'll take you tomorrow on your way back if you're interested in just stopping through here. But congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
We appreciate it. Can't wait to be in the desert, row the boat, Sky Mountain. Go Gophers. Thanks, everyone.